Comcast Cable, Channel 5 presents high school football. Tonight, a Colonial Conference matchup between Paulsboro and Collingswood. Hi again, everybody. Mike Lindner along with Steve Crispin. We're here on a Friday evening with the threat of rain for this Colonial Conference matchup between a couple of teams that, record-wise at least, Steve, look like they match up real well.
Yeah, certainly they do. Collingswood coming in this game with a 4-1 record. Their only loss to West Deptford. Tough loss early in the season. This is a Collingswood team that possibly thought that they would be in the thick of things, and right now they are. They can be a spoiler in the Colonial Conference. Paulsboro, of course, coming in undefeated. A lot of records to be talked about here tonight. Some have already been broken, and some of them we're going to be talking about. Maybe they'll be broken tonight.
All right, lots of subplots here tonight. One of them maybe is Bob Barickian, the head coach at Collingswood High School, who was really down, depressed almost after the loss to West Deptford. Felt his team did not acquit themselves as well as they should have, and therefore thinks they have a chance tonight. And a win here, of course, puts them right in the thick of things for the Colonial Conference Championship, with West Deptford losing Tony Ross to injury.
Now, this is a team that played Paulsboro very tough last year, maybe one of the best teams that matched up with Paulsboro all last season. Very close ball game, could have gone either way. Lost a lot of key ball players from that team, but as you mentioned, Bob Barickian, a lot of feelings that maybe his team can contend, and this is a game in which can turn things around. You talk about a game plan, and certainly it's got to start on defense, and they've got to be able to find some way of neutralizing this very potent Paulsboro offense. You talk about maybe the threat of rain here tonight. Maybe if you're Bob Barickian and you're looking on your sidelines, you're saying rain wouldn't be really too bad. It may slow down the quickness that Paulsboro has, and if there's one main advantage, it really is in that area of team speed.
And of course, on the other side, Glenn Howard comes in, and he preaches team play, even though he has that outstanding player that we'll get to in a minute. But team-wise, tonight, a chance to extend a pretty big record.
And that's probably one of the keys for this Paulsboro team throughout the course of their streak. Sometimes it gets lost in the fact that they have a great player in Kevin Harvey, but this is an outstanding team, and it has been for the last 4 years. He's put together a great program. They are solid on defense, and you need to be solid on defense because it's that defense that gets the ball back to the offense and allows them to score points. If Collingswood is able to control the ball, let the clock run down, use their running game effectively, it's going to keep Harvey off the field. But that's where the defense comes into play. And, of course, with the potent offense led by Kevin Harvey, there's none better.
And team-wise, of course, they're looking for a win number 35 to extend the longest winning streak ever in South Jersey history. But when you get to individuals, you've already mentioned him, Kevin Harvey, and he's chasing somebody tonight by the name of Bruce Presley.
Bruce Presley currently at Rutgers. Career scoring leader in the state of New Jersey, 559 points. And, 4 years ago, or I guess 3 years ago, when we had the opportunity to see Kevin Harvey as a freshman, it was one of those things I think a lot of people started talking about at that time, and now it's become a reality. Here, just in the middle of his senior year right now, still a lot more points to score, only need 11 points to tie, to give him the 559, 12 points, of course, to break the record. So that will be a little bit of a subplot tonight, but knowing Kevin Harvey, that's probably the furthest thing from his mind right now. Right now, we're going to win this ball game. We're going to do what we have to do. If I score the points necessary to break the record, so be it. But we want to come out of this game 6-0.
All right, the three questions then. Can Collingswood stay right now as they are in the thick of the Colonial Conference race? Can Paulsboro extend the winning streak to 35? And can Kevin Harvey break the record for points scored by a high school football player in New Jersey? All those questions to be answered, and we'll start to get the answers right after these messages. Stay with us. Collingswood High School on a Friday night. Remember, a threat of rain, but a big contest here between the 4-1 Collingswood club and the 5-0 Paulsboro club, gunning for win number 35 in a row. Mike Lindner along with Steve Crispin. And question is whether or not Collingswood is going to come up to the test tonight, Steve. They failed it against West Deptford. They have got another big one here.
They certainly do, and it's a very simple game plan as you come into this ball game. Facing a very fine Paulsboro team. They're going to get the opportunity to get the ball first. It's going to be very important that they find some way of controlling that line of scrimmage, trying to keep the ball away from this very potent Paulsboro offense.
Keenan Smith not with a good kick at all. It's going to be taken, however, hit immediately was Robert Roseborough. Real good hit by Gaines. Richard Gaines, number 19, just did a job, but Collingswood, which had won the toss and elected to receive, will start in pretty good field position, their first drive beginning at their own 37-yard line. Offensively, in the last game we had Collingswood on Channel 5, they just could get nothing going at all against West Deptford. And interestingly tonight, we're going to see them operating out of a shotgun formation with Mike McEwen deep in the tailback position, apparently not even going to try to run. Throws the ball long, looking to Convery, their outstanding end. Bill Convery, 6'5", 220-pound senior, and he's an inviting target. Not only has the size, Steve, but he's a good one.
Very important part of their offense last year, and certainly very much a part of the key for them offensively tonight. You've got to find some way of getting the ball to Bill Convery. Ran mostly out of the tight end position last year. We're going to see him moving around an awful lot. He'll split out many times, as you see him coming to the bottom part of your screen now. He'll come in as a blocking tight end on other occasions. Like to get him one-on-one with the smaller backs.
They'll remain in the shotgun. Let's see if they continue to throw. Lots of time out of this formation and looking long, and again just missing his target. The wide open Convery that time actually split it between Convery and number 26 LeVar Winder. So McEwen, a 5'10", 160-pound junior who beat out Roseboro in the beginning of the season during fall practices. Roseboro had appeared to have the ticket for the starting quarterback position, but McEwen has been there in their 4-1 season so far. Collingswood having defeated Haddonfield, Audubon, Haddon Heights, and Haddon Township, and with the big loss 42-13 against West Deptford. Face a 3rd and 10. No motion out of this shotgun at this point. Again, plenty of time. Oh, pressure. McEwen rolls to the right, looks for Convery again, and he's going to have it at the Paulsboro 40. It battles down to about the 36-yard line. That was actually jump ball between Chris Montemori, number 11, the defensive back for Paulsboro, and Convery, who showed his great concentration.
Well, that's what we said they like to look for as far as a matchup. You get Convery, probably comes in about 6'4", 6'5", with excellent hands on the smaller defensive back, and you know as a quarterback, as McKeon here, just put the ball up for grabs, and you got a good chance that Convery's going to be able to come down with it. There's no doubt that they feel that they can throw the ball against this Paulsboro defense. Again, coming out in the shotgun, 4th consecutive play.
High snap, handled by McEwen. Steps up in the pocket, looks, oh, he had Convery, who just turned and was unable to hold on. Maybe felt himself so open he thought he would turn and go for big yardage, and instead this time lost his concentration.
Well, hard to tell from here. Possibly the ball being tipped by one of the linebackers dropping back in coverage. Ball a little bit behind Convery. You expect great things from great players, and there's no doubt who they are looking to get the ball to tonight. 4 straight times running out the shotgun and 4 straight passes to number 82, Bill Convery.
Harvey and Montemori in the backfield along with Jason Brown defensively. Lots of pressure on them. This time, McEwen decides to run it straight up the gut, feeling that the pressure, they're going to fight extra hard to get deep and leave that soft spot in the middle, which they did. McEwen will pick up 5. It'll be 3rd and 5. Starting at the cornerback position, Marcus Ruffin, number 20. Seneca Cooper, also in the defensive backfield. Lee Camel playing at linebacker along with Wayne Hampton, and the tackles are Ruffin and Harbison, and the nose guard Joe Kaunis. That's the defense for Paulsboro. Looking at this shotgun, I'm not sure they anticipated this coming over this evening. And again, he has room to run. He'll get a 1st down and more if he can hold on to the football as Hampton wraps him. Hampton, one of the toughest guys in the Colonial Conference, gets help from John Kaunis, but it will be a Collingswood 1st down as they will mark the ball just inside the 20. We'll call it the 19-yard line.
Well, possibly Collingswood catching Paulsboro a little off guard with this offensive formation. They have really loosened up this defense. You got the linebackers playing back off the ball. They're looking to get back into their drop zones. Quarterbacks having to play off the ball. And this is what's enabled to provide a little bit of room for McKeon to run the ball, as he was able to do there to pick up that 1st down.
And interestingly, go to the T formation, the I, in fact, and give it to Winder coming straight up the gut. Number 26. Winder is a 6'2", 290-pound junior, and he may get a yard out of it. In fact, he puts it to where we officially marked it, the 19. So it'll be 2nd and 9. Just underway here, 9:52 remaining to play in a scoreless opening period.
Well, certainly not a lot of people able to run the ball against this Paulsboro defense. A great interior front line. They'll get a good pressure from their defensive end positions, very quick off the ball.
McEwen back to the shotgun. Will look, steps up, lofts it high. There's Convery in the end zone. Unable to hold on. He had touchdown all over that play, no question about it. And Convery is going to look back at the films in this one and say, how'd I let that 6 points slip away? He's still down in the end zone, and interestingly, he has been suffering from some injury problems.
Yeah, coming back from an injury earlier this season, suffered against Haddon Heights. And I think the biggest thing right now, certainly he's got to be very winded. You're talking about a 6'5" player who spent most of this game running about 20-yard pass patterns. But that's the kind of play that normally Bill Convery will be able to come down with. A lot of traffic there in the end zone. That time McKeon doing a really nice job of putting the ball up there. Convery able to get open in the end zone. Not able to come down with that reception. You know, Mike, one of the disadvantages here in this situation, when you look to come out throwing the ball, we said that coming into this ball game, Collingswood had to try to take as much time off of that clock as they possibly can. And you know, they've had the ball for quite some time here in terms of number of plays here in the first period, but they've only taken about 2.5 minutes off of the clock.
Well, while they attend to Convery in the end zone, hopefully he'll be all right if he gets up. We're going to pause quickly. We'll be back with more football right after these messages. Well, Convery came off under his own power. Hopefully he'll be back into the ballgame after this play, as McEwen will come back out in the shotgun facing a 3rd and 9 from the 19-yard line. And he'll continue to look downfield for receivers. Looks across the middle. And he has his man. It will be a reception made by Eric Mahoney, the sophomore playing in there. Gets a big thrill for that young guy, and his Collingswood teammates on the sideline love it. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. So Collingswood, in a somewhat of a shocking development here, says from the beginning, we think we can throw the ball against Paulsboro, or at least they may be saying we're not sure we can run the ball against the Red Raiders.
Doing a great pass on that particular play. There was not a lot of room. They had support on the outside by the cornerback and safety, but Mahoney finding a little bit of opening, able to get into that zone behind the linebackers, and McEwen doing a nice job of finding the open receiver, putting it right where he had to for that reception.
And Paulsboro called the timeout, interestingly, to try to regroup defensively, as Glenn Howard will walk out and talk to his club. Paulsboro, as you know, 5-0, 34 in a row. Looking to continue here this evening. They have defeated Gateway easily, 45-6. Haddonfield 35-6. Haddon Heights 40-0. Woodbury 40-14 in a game that was close till halftime. And then Sterling a week ago 30-8. By comparative scores, it appears that this is a mismatch, even though record-wise, Collingswood with the 4-1 and Paulsboro sitting at 5-0. It looks like a real good matchup, but Collingswood was fortunate to squeak by Haddonfield 20-16 in the opener this year, and then just got by Audubon 10-7. And then we talked about the disastrous defeat to West Deptford, and then another close one, 23-20 over Haddon Heights, and then exploded last week for the 26-0 win over Haddon Township. So a big game here for Bob Barikian and the Panthers of Collingswood High School, and a big moment for them here early in the ball game. Still haven't reached the 9-minute mark of the opening period, as Collingswood now comes up 1st and goal from the tee. From the I formation, they're going to go to the deep back, and it's going to be a Collingswood touchdown according to the players, and let's see if the linesman indicates it. No, they do not. The players themselves train so well, Steve, to give the signal. So it will be a 2nd and goal, this time inside the 1-yard line. Looks more like about a foot to go. Barikian is certainly staring this one down, hoping that it will bring the touchdown. Deep will be number 33, Justin Byer, who carried it on the previous play out of the tailback slot. And he'll get another chance, and nothing doing from our position. Again, the Collingswood linemen say touchdown, but the linesmen say otherwise. So it's going to be a 3rd down. What do you do here, Coach? They're not doing a thing in the middle.
Well, they got a good surge on the 1st down play from the right-hand side of their offensive line. There wasn't much of a hole, but the offensive line getting off of the ball, allowing the tailback in that particular case to follow himself up. They were almost in for the score. That time there was great pressure from the Paulsboro defense. Right now maybe a play action as watch number 82, maybe trying to get himself out in the flat.
Well, if he does, he's going to beat Kevin Harvey, who has the corner and the responsibility for Convery. Loses that now as a wingback comes out. There's Convery. Oh, and Great pressure up the gut. Superb job done by Lee Camel, who forced McEwen to get rid of it. And let me tell you, Harvey had to go with the man in motion, Ryan Morsey, and left Convery wide open. But the pressure from Camel defeated that play. 4th down.
Camel probably had the responsibility for the second receiver on that side. Your cornerback has responsibility for the first, but great pressure, good quickness to get in there.
Yeah, let's see if they can do it. It will be a grand goal line stand. Oh, he's got it. If he gets rolls over, yes. On the option, it appeared he had easy, and then it was waiting too long, McEwen was, to turn in and go for the score. Finally saw the end zone and will be credited with the 1-yard touchdown to cap a 63-yard drive. Mike McEwen comes up big on that one. 7:47 remaining to play in the first period.
McEwen's come up big through that whole series. A lot of pressure on a quarterback when you go from that shotgun formation. He's got to do a lot of reading. Had some big passes through that series, also some key runs, and then capping it off with that nice touchdown run.
Roseborough, who seldom misses, doesn't miss here. He was 26-26 a year ago and has kept that streak alive here. And young man getting all the attention on the sideline, Mike McEwen, who passed them down the field and then finally comes up with the 1-yard touchdown run on the option. And now with the Roseborough successful kick on the Valley Mo scoreboard, 7-0, Collingswood on top. Well, surprised?
Very much surprised. I think you got to be surprised with this philosophy that Collingswood coaching staff has come out here with offensively. Again, feeling that they may not have the running game that you need to be able to control this ball. They've decided to loosen things up with the pass, and it was very, very effective. You got a player in Convery. You've got to find some way of keeping him involved in the offense, and certainly they have to feel very good. I think it was very important that they came away with a score there. To get that close and not to come away with a score would have been really demoralizing for this football team. Hopefully they can now carry this motion over to the defensive side of the ball.
Roseborough will tee it up at the 40-yard line. Deep for Paulsboro will be number 20, Marcus Ruffin, and number 32, Gerald Irvin. Flags will be thrown. Must be a dead ball penalty. Probably Collingswood offside, and they'll move it back. Saw some great kicking last time we were here in the Collingswood game between West Deptford, Ty, and Roseborough. Two of the finest kickers in all of South Jersey matched up in that game. Of course, the kicking game was not very important in that one. So Ruffin and Irvin will move up now to stand at their own 20-yard line to await the kick from Roseborough. Paulsboro, by the way, has been behind in a couple of their ball games this season and have struggled in 2 at least until halftime. So not an unusual position for the Red Raiders. They face one dilemma we'll talk about after the kickoff, Steve, having to do with the placement of fans here at Collingswood, which I think puts the visiting team in a poor position. Taken by Ruffin at the 10, coming up the sideline on the right side, looking for a hole, but he's going to be taken down. An outstanding job by Ryan Morsey. Morsey, the junior defensive back, makes a good hit on the special teams, and the Red Raiders will begin from their own 27-yard line.
There's no doubt special team play is going to be very big for Collingswood here tonight. There's one thing you don't want to allow Paulsboro to do, and that's allow them to beat you with the big play. Try to force them to run as many plays offensively as you can. Try to neutralize them in the special teams category. Don't give up the big kickoff return, punt return. And certainly it's something that Bob Barickian has probably preached to his troops all week long. This is a team you can never let up on. Every play is so important, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Coming in motion will be Tim Robinson. Kai Myers, however, number 10, will get the first call, and he is pounded at the line of scrimmage. Initial hit done by Declan Moody, one of the outstanding linebackers in the Colonial Conference, wearing number 16, and then help from the secondary to make the stop, and Myers will get 2 out of it. It'll be 2nd and 8. 6:56 with the clock running, remaining to play here in the opening period. We talked about no stands on the far side, and a team standing there, I wonder how they feel any emotion. They don't get it from the fans, that's for sure. Harvey finds his receiver. It will be a reception, a good catch made by Keenan Smith, number 12. He will be shy of the first down by about 3. Let's call it 3rd and 7. Can you imagine, Steve? It must be like a scrimmage. Come here and there's nobody behind you, no band behind you.
It's got to be a very strange feeling. And you're talking about a football team that has a great following. These Paulsboro fans that will follow this football team anywhere. And after a big play, offensively or defensively, it's a great feeling to come off that field, to see your fans behind you out there supporting you. And it's something you do not have here at Collingswood.
The pitch to Irvin, cuts back inside the block, and will get up about 7 yards in order to approach the 40 and get the first down. Excellent job leading the play that time, John David, number 72. John David, 5'7", 240 pounds.
Well, he was there last year for this ball club. Very important part of that offensive line, and it's so impressive. He is one of the bigger players on that offensive front, but it's not a real huge offensive front. But they're tough, they're strong, they work hard at it, they have great technique. They get out there and make contact and do what they have to do.
Harvey again looks to the flat, this time finds Chris Montemori, and it appears to be almost an automatic call for them. Not automatic at the line, but defensively, if Collingswood is going to play off as deep as they are, that's the second time now they have just turned and immediately fired the ball 6-7 yards downfield. They get 6 out of this, it'll be 2nd and 4.
Certainly the coaches up top picking up something of Collingswood defensively, maybe even setting something up for a little bit down the line, little fake hitch and go. But I think the one thing about Collingswood defensively right now, they're willing to give up those plays. We're going to force Paulsboro to run a lot of plays on offense. It's what they did last year when these two teams met. Harvey checking the defensive out, maybe checking to a secondary play.
Looked like an audible. Irvin steps up a little. They're just going to go straight through with Myers. Myers, one of those strong guys, deceptive when you take a look at his size, 5'9", but he's another one of them, been in the weight room and now packs a big 200 pounds on that 5'9" frame, and he is a load to bring down, and he's going to put the ball across the 50, and in fact at the 44-yard line of Collingswood with another Paulsboro first down.
I don't know, Mike, if indeed they changed that play at the line of scrimmage, but that's another dimension of this quarterback, a senior who has the experience reading a defense, able to call the play that's going to work best against the defensive front that he's seeing.
And I'll give it to Myers again, and there's a huge hole this time as he bangs forward for another first down, picking up, well, at least very, very close. There should certainly move the chains there as he picked up 11 and has the ball now at the 34-yard line, 1st and 10. Huge hole on the right side.
Well, it all starts up front, and that's where this team has been so strong over the years. It's not a one-dimensional team. Certainly Kevin Harvey could not do what he has done for the last 3 years without an outstanding front line. And each year they continue to replace players that they lose to graduation. Equally strong players, fundamentally sound. They get off the ball. And it's great when you're an offensive lineman. Going to get a offsides here against Paulsboro. It's great when you're an offensive lineman and you know you don't have to hold your block for a long period of time. These backs get to the hole so quickly. You get out, you make contact, give them just a little bit of room.
Dan Wilson makes the call. He's our referee tonight in the white hat. Paulsboro player obviously lined up in the neutral zone, and it immediately is a violation by high school rules. Dead ball foul, same as offsides. 1st and 15 now for the Raiders, and this will be Harvey's first carry of the night. Big blocking in front of him. He dips, he turns, he does a Harvey, and gets another first down and an additional 12 yards. Looks like nothing, all of a sudden it becomes something.
It certainly does. 3 wide receivers to the left-hand side, and they do, again, a great job of getting out and blocking on the cornerbacks. Didn't look like there was much there, but as they got off the ball, they get out, they make contact, they continue to stay with their blocks, and of course, Harvey makes it look so easy, a little inside move, a little outside move, just looking for just a little bit of a hole, and once he sees it, I think what's so impressive of Kevin Harvey is the way in which he explodes to the hole.
That was not an option left, that was quarterback left. Just take the ball, tuck it, and roll. This time they'll let Myers try that right tackle slot again. He'll pick up about 5. So Myers is having a big night statistically on this first drive. Well, it will be 2nd and 4 officially, 2:53 as the clock continues to run. Remember, Collingswood struck on their first drive, 67 yards for a touchdown, and they're up 7-0 on Paulsboro here. Double slot formation to the right side. In fact, it's double flanker and a tight end on that side. Harvey to throw, ball up in the air, chance for Collingswood to stop this drive, and they do, and it is picked off by Brett Byer. That will dent any momentum Paulsboro was picking up there, and now if Collingswood would be able to go back to the air and move it downfield again, interesting things have happened in the past, and they can certainly happen here tonight.
Well, they certainly can, and I tell you, this is why it is so important not to give up the big play. Things did not look good for Collingswood defensively, but at least they're forcing Paulsboro to run a lot of plays, and anything can happen in high school football.
Well, they're going to go to the I formation here. McEwen will be up under the center. Byer will be behind him, but he's still going to throw. Oh, that's picked off. How quickly things can change as Campbell picks it off. Lee Campbell just read that one perfectly and gets it back for the Red Raiders and puts them at 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Do you think he sensed what quarterback McEwen was going to do there?
I don't know if he sensed it, but it's good fundamental football. He got a great read from the quarterback. He read pass very quickly, dropped back into his drop zone, had the halfback, which was lined up in the slot formation, looking to get a quick one across the middle. And there again, an experienced linebacker getting a quick read, being exactly in the place that he's supposed to be. And that's a big defensive play for Paulsboro.
Robinson and Scott split to the left side. Harvey will give it back on a counter coming the other way. Look at the opening. No problem at all. Gerald Irvin will dance in with a 6-yard touchdown run. 6-yard touchdown run, and it'll only be a 6-yard drive. It was going to be 73, but it was interrupted by the interception enjoyed momentarily by Collingswood. Irvin picking up the score here. It is 7-6. We'll see if Paulsboro tries to kick the point or go for 2 in the lead.
Such a difficult team to defend because they can hurt you in so many ways. They're able to throw the ball, they can run inside, they can run outside. A very difficult team to read. You've seen them be able to run effectively from the fullback position, tailback position, and of course the quarterback position.
Harvey will pick up the 2. So Kevin Harvey now needs 9 to tie and 10 to break. Chasing the record of Presley. He now has, well, I don't know, I lose count. What is it, 5:59 is the mark?
That's right. We can take 11 from that, I think. And
so he needs 9, right. So he's got 5:50. Remarkable. I mean, it's, you can't even imagine it. Can you? I mean, we've watched football for how long and participated in it for how long, and to even conceive of any player, any team over the course of 4 years scoring that many points.
I'm going to tell you, Mike, what's even more impressive is that he's done it out of the quarterback position. And he's not the kind of quarterback that's always looking to run the ball, and when he goes back to throw, he's looking primarily to put the ball in the air and move the ball down the field. But certainly a special talent when you can, out of the quarterback position, score the kind of points that he's been able to score. And of course, he's done it in other ways. A great punt returner, always finding ways in which he's going to be able to move that ball up the field. Great talent. Of course, as we said 3 years ago, we knew we were looking at something that was very special. He's been very much a part of this Paulsboro team for these last couple of years, but he's surrounded by great players also.
Keenan Smith to kick it off. Will be taken by Winder at the 30-yard line. He crosses that and gets to about the 34-yard line where the Panthers will take over. So we'll see how they can answer the 8 points scored by Paulsboro. Find themselves down by 1, and so much enthusiasm possibly robbed of them by that quick turnaround after they blunted the drive of Paulsboro with their interception, and then to give it right back after one play. See if they go back, and they do, in fact, to the shotgun. Byer will stand next to McEwen, deep. Winder will be in the slot to the right, and then the Convery way out to the right. Plenty of time again, and a big hole. Good read by McEwen, makes an excellent decision. He's banged down hard by Kevin Harvey, which job done downfield tackling, but it isn't until another first down picked up by Collingswood, and there's an injured Paulsboro player temporarily down at least, as they will move the ball to the 48-yard line of Collingswood, and it's Lee Camel who is down and awaiting some assistance. He gets up under his own power and says, all right, I'll go off for the one play, I'm fine. I think he just got stung.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to Campbell there. I mean, he's going to be right back in this ball game. He'll sit out as one play, but again, it's this shotgun formation. It's the threat of Bill Convery, and it was the very impressive opening drive led by Mike McEwen. It's really loosened up this Paulsboro defense. When he was able to break through that initial line of scrimmage, there was no one within 10 yards. They're really concerned about their deep drops and taking away the deep passing game.
Well, if he gets as much time as he's been getting, they can do that. Winder on the reverse to the right side. The wing slips down. He'll pick up 2 yards out of it. Maybe would have been able to get a yard or two more, but not much more. It will be second, and let's call it 7. He gets 3. Oh, what would you do, Coach? Would you stay in that shotgun or alternate or go back to the high?
Well, certainly it's been effective, and you've got to continue to work it into your offensive scheme. I think they've got to, again, find some way getting the ball back to number 82.
Winder will now come to the near side here. He's split about 12, 15 yards. McEwen 6 yards deep. Looking. Still looking, now finds his man. It's going to be completed to Ryan Morsey, and Morsey will have another Collingswood first down. Dragged down by Montemori, number 11, but excellent job, I think, so far by McEwen, who has been able to wait as long as he's had the time, then read if they've been deep, and then move from where he was, and as they come at him, find the open receiver. Well, we'll see what they can do in the second period. They are only 1 point down here on the Valley and Post scoreboard after one full quarter. Paulsboro 8, Collingswood 7. We'll be back. Entertaining football game here at Collingswood High School. Collingswood down 1 point, 8-7 as we begin the second period. They have a 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. Oh, bad snap. McEwen's going to have to chase this one. He should get rid of it. Just throw it away, and does. Let's see what they call on him. No flags that I see anywhere. Smart play by McEwen. Been waiting for that to happen. I think he's only had one good snap. Everything else has been high, as McKinney, we'll have to check, see if he's still in there at center, or who lines up. But McEwen gets away with a big one there. No receiver anywhere near where the football was.
There was not a blue shirt anywhere around. I guess they ruled that there was a defensive player within the vicinity of the throw. You're right, it looks like the center in that particular case trying to snap the ball blind. He's trying to keep his head up so he can see where he's going to be blocking after the snap. Some other snaps have been high. It almost cost him.
Take the reverse, looking downfield. Man wide open. He'll get it. Can he score? Excellent play as Morsey gets it down to about the 2-yard line. Super job done that time by quarterback McEwen as he fakes the wingback reverse, then steps and down the opposite sideline goes Morsey.
This has been an outstanding offensive scheme. Great job on the coaching Bob Barikian and his staff to put together some outstanding plays that have really got this Paulsboro defense confused.
Well, now they'll go back to the eye as they did in their opening drive. And remember, it took them 4 plays from the 2 to score. They're now at the 3. Let's see what they can do here. They're not going to do anything, as driving through defensively was Jermaine Ruffin, number 59, who just buried the runner Byer in the backfield. And there'll be a loss of a couple. They'll mark it now 2nd and goal from the 5. That's penetration.
It's penetration and it's quickness. This defense is so quick to the ball. They react once they saw the run, getting to the open areas, linebackers coming up and filling the holes.
At the 11-minute mark, 11 minutes remaining to play in the half. Clock continues to run. They'll stay in the eye, 1 man behind. They're going to go with the option. Turning inside, McEwen, and he is finally dragged down and may have lost something. Camel is there along with Marcus Ruffin to make the stop, and let's see where they mark it. They lost a couple on the first, and they certainly didn't get anything here. We'll still call it 3rd and 5. 3rd and goal from the 5. I think I've got to line up in that shotgun and let him run all over the place and either find somebody that comes clear or take it in.
And Mike, what they've been doing is they've been switching their centers, and they're bringing in number 50 into the ball game, Davis. And once he comes in, it looks like they're going shotgun, although now he's lining up under center.
Well, it's McKinney, number 53, now at center. We're going to look for the same play, and he throws it away again as pressure is applied from Jamie Tarpley, number 84, who puts them at a 4th down. And remember Roseboro, the ability to kick. This may be a field goal time. It certainly is. It'll be a 10, 20, about a 23-yarder. 23-yard field goal attempt, at least, by Roseboro, out of the hold of Jeff Hibbs. One of the best in South Jersey. See if they can get all 3 parts. The snap's good, the hold's good, and the kick looks good from here. It is. It is 10:05 remaining to play. 10-8. Somewhat of a surprise here at Collingswood. We'll be back with more right after these words. Well, Collingswood came in 4-1, Paulsboro 5-0, but I don't think there were too many people who thought with just over 10 minutes remaining to play in the opening half that the Panthers here at home would be up by 2, 10-8 over the visiting Red Raiders of Paulsboro. But that's exactly the situation we have here, as Collingswood coming out and saying, well, we're not even going to try to run, at least not that much. We're going to sit in the shotgun and make you prove you can play pass defense, and it has really worked wonders. And as a result, they are now on top as they prepare to kick to Paulsboro. Roseboro, who just had the successful field goal, tees it up at the 40. Irvin and Ruffin will be deep for Paulsboro, standing at their own 6-yard line. It will be pounded down to Ruffin, who finally picks it up at the 11. It does not find too much running room, but does now, and then finally driven out of bounds as he approaches the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at the 28. So we'll see what Harvey and company can do now from the 28-yard line.
Well, you don't look for them to do anything differently than they did in their last series. A long drive, of course, the interception, getting the ball right back and scoring. Try to keep with their wide open offensive attack.
Well, they've got the people who can operate wide open, which has so often been their forte. Harvey keeps it on the option from the inside and is going to have to really fight to get a couple of yards here. Busted play, Steve, or design?
It's been one of their more favored plays. It's a counter option. They're going to fake the run.
No tailing back that time.
No runner going over the left-hand side. Little fake on the inside, and the dipsy-do to the outside by their quarterback.
I agree. It looked like their typical reverse option or counter option, but there was no tailback following that Harvey had an option to pitch to. He will split Tim Robinson to the near side. And they will simply turn and go to Irvin, who banged at the line of scrimmage, actually by his own man, John David, who was trying to get the block and move his defender away. A couple of more yards. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Good opportunity here for the Collingswood defense to come up big. They love to have a 3 and out by this Paulsboro offense. Get their hands back on the football. Run some time off of this clock here in the 2nd period.
Harvey straight back this time. Plenty of time. Looks upfield, decides to run, and bangs forward for the 1st down. He's taken down by Comfrey, but his motion almost always is forward. It was again that time, and he picks up the 1st down for Paulsboro.
And I'll tell you, Mike, that's a big play. You're talking 6'5" Comfrey waiting out there at 220. And Harvey shows you the kind of strength that he has, not able to find a receiver downfield. But again, the Collingswood defense doing a nice job of staying home. They're going to make sure that they always have someone on the outside to contain Kevin Harvey. Don't let him have a lot of field to maneuver with. At that time, able to pick up what he needed for the first down.
From the eye. Irvin. Big hole. Explosion of speed from Irvin. Finally going to be dragged down. Tackle made by Jeff Hibbs, but not until they get down and appears just inside the Collingswood 30. Mark it officially right there, but that hole just opened up on the right side, and probably Hampton again. They flip-flop the line, and you can usually follow the block of number 56, Hampton, one of the best around, definitely all South Jersey. This time he'll go to the left. Let's see what they do. But Irvin sees that hole and says, I've got big-time yardage, and he gets it. Irvin, the remaining back behind Harvey. Now they will bring Montemori in motion. They'll pitch it to Irvin on the right side. Follows John David's screen block, but good reaction by the defensive play of Collingswood. Guy Moyer makes the tackle. Guy Boyer, check it, 74, 6'2", 255, senior. It will be a gain of yard, 2nd and 9 with 7:25 to play here in the first half. 10-8 Collingswood. Yes, Collingswood on top. Harvey wants to throw and does. Tarpley handles it. He is tackled by Moody, but not until he picks up another first down. And he is an inviting target, 6 foot 200, but read the seam perfectly.
I don't know how you prepare for an offense like this Paulsboro team. This is an offense that probably you could compare with a lot of colleges. You don't find many football players who can fake into the line to their left-hand side, and then as they're coming down the line, turn their shoulders. This is a right-handed quarterback, fire the ball upfield, well executed. Nice play to pick up the first down.
From the 18-yard line, they'll just go inside with Myers. Myers has it. No, he comes up shy. About a half a yard. We'll call it the 1-yard line, but Myers appeared to be getting into the end zone, and they hit you at just every conceivable spot, Steve. Inside, outside, passing, option plays, power sweeps.
You know, I feel at the high school level, Mike, what you try to do is you look at another team's offense and you say, what can we take away that's really going to be their strength? And probably a lot of people look at number 8, Kevin Harvey. But again, with so many strengths, there is no one part that you can take away that's really going to hurt them. There's so many ways in which they can counter you defensively. And we're seeing an excellent example of that here tonight.
Irvin jumps in. It'll be the second touchdown of the evening. He earlier had a 6-yard run. This time Irvin has a 1-yard run for the TD. And we'll see, we'll assume probably a 2-point attempt here, as with 6:16 to play in the half. Paulsboro up 14-10. Well, not much surprise there, huh? We need a yard or actually less. Let's go to the eye and pile everybody forward.
Nothing fancy. Just let our offensive line do what they need to do. And following his blockers up on the inside for the score.
Interestingly, Glenn Howard calls a timeout here. This is the second expended by Paulsboro in this half, leaving them with one, but recognizing the importance of this 2-point conversion, putting them up by 6. And going to talk it over. I assume there's no problem in there, but what is Glenn Howard down on the ground, showing somebody how to block even during the game, huh? Get down in the 3-point stance and crab along there.
Well, certainly has probably realized that he's in for a tight game here so far tonight. Doesn't want to make any mistakes. Want to make sure everybody knows exactly what their responsibilities are going to be. Come on, Rudy. Of course, the big question is, can anybody match up with this Paulsboro team? We've had a good performance by Collingswood here tonight, but still got another 24 minutes of football after the end of this quarter to play. A lot more opportunities for Paulsboro to put some points on the board. There's a lot of people will be anticipating the matchup between Paulsboro and West Defford. West Defford suffered a big loss, but the loss of their fine running back Ross.
Fine, outstanding, tremendous running back. What an exhibition he put on for us on Channel 5 when we were here at Collingswood earlier in the year. We have over 200 yards in every game that he started until injured last week.
Come on, D!
Well, Harvey lines them up. They'll see
Come on, D! Come on, D!
the power I formation. Long count, and perhaps too long. It will be delay, and they will bring it back 5 more.
You don't see that too often. Not after a timeout. It's taking a little bit of too much time calling their play, getting up there and running their play.
You all right there, big guy? You all right?
They will now have it at the 8, which some people would say makes it even more difficult to defend Harvey because of the greater area he has in which to operate.
I'd be surprised. Must be either an option play. Surprised they'd stay with a running play this far.
Harvey had Tarpley, but he overthrows him. So the extra point attempt will be no good, and it will be 14-10. Paulsboro will be back. Preparing to kick off for Paulsboro, Keenan Smith, as he looks down the field. Jeff Hibbs and LeVar Winder are deep for Collingswood. 14-10. Tight ball game. Paulsboro on top. Good kick this time. Will drive Hibbs deep. Looking to go straight up the middle and does get pretty good yardage as he gets the ball out close to the 30-yard line where the Panthers will take over. See if they go back to the shotgun, or with 6:11 remaining to play here in the opening half.
Come on now!
Run some more time off the clock. It'd be interesting to see at halftime just what kind of adjustments, particularly defensively, Glenn Howard and staff make with Paulsboro against the shotgun.
Well, so far their philosophy against the pass is to get deep drops from their linebacker. One adjustment they can make is to put a lot more pressure on the quarterback, not allowing the time to look downfield.
Will come upfield. Will pick up 4. It will be 2nd and 6 as he advances the ball to the 34. And I think as a coach, Steve, I think I'd be telling McEwen, stand the shotgun, look for the men, but make no mistakes.
Well, very important right now. You don't want to give up the good field position. It's a tough decision for a coach. He's got to feel very comfortable with Bob Barikian with only being down 14-10. He would probably not mind going in at halftime only down 4 points. Certainly would love to get another score across, but the one thing he's got to be concerned about is not to turn this ball back over to the Paulsboro offense with a lot of time still left on the clock.
Good snap. McEwen looking for Convery, who's not going to get it. However, the other way, it's going to be gotten by Chris Montemori, coming up with an interception, and Paulsboro will take over from their own 43-yard line.
Well, there's the mistake that you had talked about. Montemori coming and making up a nice play on that interception. That was a timing play in which McEwen is looking for Convery on the break. Convery had to get by the initial quarterback, and then he's looking for that little seam between the quarterback and the safety. Not quite able to turn as quickly on the ball as maybe he would have liked. Montemori able to come in with that interception.
Convery was in an open seam, but the ball just not delivered properly. Harvey, now to drop deep. He's got his man deep. See if he hits him. He will not. Actually, maybe getting in the way that time was Marcus Scott. Tim Robinson was the receiver number 7, way behind the secondary. They just failed to pick him up. The halfback on this side, Steve, apparently read that movement to the right side and rotated in that direction and left Tim Robinson wide open.
There's no doubt Harvey must have been looking for Scott all the way. Scott had lined up on the right-hand side, went all the way across the field. You like to create that motion to the right, throw back to the left, but you're right, it was Robinson who was wide open. There's no doubt Harvey probably just did not see him, but he certainly has a strong enough arm to get it there.
He'll try again. Looking and not caught. Looked like it was going to be handled by Chris Montemori. It would have been a heck of a catch had he made it. Right in the midst of 2 defenders, Ryan Morsey and Declan Moody were there, but the ball fell perfectly into the area occupied by Montemori and just falls incomplete. It will be 3rd and 10.
Well, nice pass by Harvey. And you know, when you watch that play, a lot of people probably are concerned about the lack of pressure on Harvey. If you saw the blue jerseys on that side of the field, they were not attacking Harvey. They were kind of sitting back. And I think that's the way you have to defend Kevin Harvey. He has to beat you with a pass. You cannot come up and put a lot of pressure on him and allow him the opportunity to beat you running the football.
He'll drop straight back again to look. This time lofts it and just overthrows his intended receiver, Tim Robinson. Good coverage by the secondary at Collingswood, and all of a sudden, Paulsboro will be punting. Harvey, not happy with his performance, goes way wide to go off the field down around the 20-yard line and winds up over on the bench all by himself. There have not been too many situations where there were 3 incomplete passes on an offensive series by Kevin Harvey.
Now, and again, Collingswood defensively, a nice job. The interior front is putting pressure on there, forcing him to throw the ball, not giving him a lot of time. They're doing a good job in the defensive secondary, making sure they're keeping all these receivers covered.
Keenan Smith to punt, gets it away. Roseboro calls for a fair catch. Interestingly enough, at about the 15-yard line. Low driving kick, and yet Roseboro says, I'm going to fair catch it. May have been able to get 5 to 10 more yards on a return, but the Panthers will take over at their own 15, 1st and 10.
Come on.
Again, kind of the same situation they were in the last series. You got 4:51 left here in the half. Not great field position. You have to be concerned about maybe turning the ball over real quickly to this Paulsboro team, especially after you came out of a good defensive stance. The problem with Collingswood has been their inability really to move the football on the ground.
McEwen's going to stand deep. He'll be at about his own 8-yard line. Instead wants to run straight ahead, and that's not going to happen as Lee Campbell sniffs that one out with no problem. He gets assistance out there by Jermaine Ruffin, and it'll be a loss of 3. It'll be 2nd and 13.
That time showing the shotgun formation, hoping to get the deep drop out of the linebackers, but they read it again very well. As they read the run, McEwen nowhere to go.
That time, in fact, that's the second time it's happened. The second time he's got him in the backfield. Campbell stunted from the linebacking position, and there was nobody there to pick him up. So that may be one of the adjustments. Let's put pressure with at least one linebacker on the deep man. Looks across the middle, has him, not first down territory, but Declan Moody will get him at least back to within 5 as they'll mark it at the 20, where it'll be 3rd and 5 with 3:55 remaining to play in this half. So they need a first down here to try and keep the ball out of the hands of Paulsboro, at least with the Red Raiders having much time in the half. See how they decide to attack it. Interestingly, coming up under the center this time is quarterback McEwen. He knows where he has to go to get the first down. He's not going to make it, I don't think. I think Harvey drove him out before he got to the stick, indicating first down. Harvey just exploded up there quickly, came off his potential receiver he was defending. And it appears to me that the linesman over there holding the chains threw it down, and it went in one direction. McEwen chased it, and as a result comes up a yard shy.
McEwen's first option on that play, he looked to the right. He had Convery split to the right-hand side, and Paulsboro has elected defensively when Convery splits as a wide receiver, they bring their cornerback up, and they're going to bump him at the line, and they bring their safety over. So you almost have double coverage on Bill Convery. And outside of that first drive, he has really not been a factor for Collingswood offensively. McEwen reading that, he saw that he was not going to have time to get it to Convery, just trying to make as much as he can out of that play. Came very close to picking up that first down.
Well, there's no one deep for Paulsboro, as Roseboro is going to get the football. Just punt it as deep as he can, and they'll hope now for a Panther roll. It's not going to really do much rolling at all as it bounces around and finally down at the 41-yard line where Paulsboro will take over. 14-10, the Red Raiders on top. We'll be back. In a game that has mirrored many of Paulsboro's games this year so far, having a tough time with Collingswood, 14-10 with 3 minutes left to play. Harvey wants to throw and rifles this one just too high and too long for Marcus Scott, who had gone down about 15 yards and just hooked, but he was covered well. Collingswood doing a good job defensively in the secondary.
They are. They're doing a nice job of staying with their receivers. They're getting good drops. They're looking at that time. Paulsboro looking to hook up, and receiver not open at all. And still good pressure from the Collingswood interior defensive line as Harvey, when he released that ball, got hit. 26 there, Lindner coming from his right defensive end position. And the big thing right now for Collingswood, don't give up the big play. Do everything you can to try to contain these guys.
Irvin on the draw, but is corralled by 71 Paul Davidson, who just reached out his big, strong left arm and dragged Irvin down from behind and nearly took the football with him.
That's the one thing that Collingswood has been lacking, a strong play on the inside of their defense. Paulsboro's been very successful in their running game, getting past that defensive front. That time I couldn't see, but you mentioned that one of the defensive players able to get a hand in there and drag Irvin down. Davison, nice play defensively.
Davison, Dybus, and Boyer, the interior line. Winder and Convery, the defensive ends. Harvey is going to lose ground here, as coming from the defensive end position was LeVar Winder, number 26, and Winder with some great speed himself, and this is not going to be a memorable half for Kevin Harvey. 2:03, and think Collingswood should be thinking something here?
Hey, you might think we got enough time the way we've moved the football in the air here, although Paulsboro lined it up very quickly for the punt. You may want to stop that clock. A lot of valuable time running off the clock. They're going to get good field position out of this punt.
Keenan Smith to punt, stands at his own 16-yard line. Collingswood with the return on. This is a tough one, real high, and they'll be well served to get away from it. Look at that bounce. Excellent job for Paulsboro as it's going to bound down and go out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So Keenan Smith came up big for the Red Raiders. So much for great field position.
So important for your receivers there, at least get up and catch the ball. The ball was punted very high, certainly enough time. Hibbs had made the indication that he was going to call for the fair catch, but just not comfortable. And sometimes that's not a bad move in itself. If you're not comfortable, if you don't feel that you have a good read on the football, let's not take the chance of the turnover. And just in that particular case, Collingswood would not get in a favorable bounce.
1:34 remaining to play in the half. Down by 4. Collingswood will start from their 20 as McEwen stands again in the shotgun. Oh, another bad snap. This could cost him. Get rid of it. It'll be worth the penalty, but he's not going to get rid of it. He'll knock it out of the end zone. It'll be a safety. Safety here. And then they'll get the 2 points they did not get on the 2-point conversion.
That hurts the Panthers, there's no doubt about it. Certainly going to hurt the fact that they got to turn the ball back over. Paulsboro, second time this evening, they've had a problem with the snap. It's a blind snap, as I indicated before. The center looks back. McEwen gives the signal, raising his foot that he's ready for the snap. The center then raises his head to try to keep an eye on where the defense is and where he has to make his block. The snap going over McEwen's head, not even an opportunity to make any kind of play on the ball. Fortunate, as you said, that they come out with just giving up the 2 points.
I credit McEwen for having enough sense to get back there and push that ball out of the end zone or fall on it, whichever, in order to keep it at 2 points. And it just rolled around there, and Paulsboro jumps on it. They've got a touchdown. Maybe the worst thing about a safety, Steve, is what happens right after, having to punt the ball from the 20.
As you said, you're going to be giving up good field position, still enough time on the clock for this Paulsboro team to move the football. And I think more importantly, it's how this half ends up psychologically for this Collingswood team. They need to finish on a high note. They can't go into the locker room 2 down emotionally. And certainly giving up those 2 points is going to be very difficult for them to recover from. Certainly cannot afford to give up any more.
Up to Roseboro now to get it high, to give his special teams plenty of time to cover. That's a terrible call, but it's a correct one as far as the book goes, if they call offsides by Collingswood. Let's see if that's what they call. Now they're going to go against Paulsboro? Not enough men up in the initial zone, right? Got to have 5 up there.
Actually, I think they lined up inside the 10 yards that they are permitted. You see the linesman out there discussing it with the 5 men up front.
No, they were all behind the 30s deep, but they only had 4, and you need 5 there, don't you?
Yeah, they were on the other side of the line. He tried to jump back at the last second, was not able to get back, and I guess it's almost like an encroachment penalty that you normally have on defense. I guess they call that the neutral zone, that 10 yards between, in this case, the 20 and the 30.
Well, it's a good punt. As far as depth goes, it will be taken by Ruffin, who wants to try and get near midfield and comes close. Moody makes the tackle as they will start this offensive thrust, 1:23 remaining to play in the half, from their own 46-yard line. Yeah, we'll see what Harvey does here. Has not had much success throwing the football yet, and has not given us a patented Harvey run yet.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to at least maybe call one play within this series where they're going to allow Kevin Harvey the opportunity in the open field to run the football.
Now they're going to go with a slot formation to the right side. Harvey straight back. Boy, he takes a drop. He really takes a drop. Now he wants to run. Now he reverses. Comes back across, and he gets a real good shot as a result of that action by Dybus, number 50. And Paulsboro now calls what I believe will be their final timeout with 52 seconds remaining to play in the half.
Well, defensively, Collingswood did exactly what you want to do if you're going to contain Kevin Harvey. Bill Convery, the left defensive end, he's pressuring from that side, does not allow Harvey to get to the outside. Once Harvey breaks the initial line of scrimmage, he's now trying to get back to the left side of the field. But there, the defensive end on the right-hand side, Lamar Winder, doing a nice job of forcing Harvey back up to the inside where he knows he has help. They give up the 7 yards, but this is a situation here where you're willing to go up to 6 to 7 to 8 yards. With time running out now, they know that Paulsboro is going to have to do it with a big play.
Well, certainly a much more interesting ball game than I anticipated, taking a look at all the stats and having seen both teams. Admittedly, I saw Collingswood in their worst performance of the year against West Deptford in a game that, when you think about it, based on everything else they've done, maybe a game that they lost hard in as a result of the pounding they were taking from the running game, most notably Ross in that game, and maybe the score not indicative of the strength of this Panther ball club. Second and 4 for Harvey, who again drops deep, now lofts it, finds his man wide open. Just right in the seam, Timothy Robinson. Tim Robinson hit perfectly by Kevin Harvey. Clock will stop as they move the chains at 45 seconds. That, of course, a benefit for Paulsboro, who I believe is out of timeouts. Tarpley now gets back to the right side. Clock running. Harvey, deep drop again. Now he wants to run. Now he makes his dip. Now he makes his turn. Now he does his dance, but he goes out of bounds. And Harvey will get yardage out of it. He'll also stop the clock with 34 seconds remaining to play as they will mark it at the 13-yard line.
Well, that's a good play all the way around. They pick up good yardage on the play. As we said, you figure somewhere along the way they're going to try to create something for Kevin Harvey, allow him the opportunity to get into that open field. Picks up the yardage, but makes the smart play, seeing that he's not going to be able to get anymore, get out of bounds and stop that clock. A lot of time here, 34 seconds left in the half.
He'll drop and look and rifle it in at Tarpley right at the goal line, but it will fall incomplete. Second and 10 from the 13. Well, if it were not just 29 seconds to play in the half, and if any timeouts remain, I think you'd see the option left with Harvey. But I'm not so sure that they want to call it here and risk the possibility of having to hurry too much on what could be then a fourth down play. We'll see.
That wouldn't be a bad call. He's a quick enough player to get to that outside, get out of bounds if he has to.
Quick pass. Looking for his receiver, Keenan Smith, coming from the left side on the slant in, and he just rifled it too hard and behind him. So they'll face the 3rd and 10 now. Clock down to 27 seconds. Howard signaling in the sign of the play to Harvey. They've done a lot of sign language between the two of them over the last 3.5 seasons, have they not?
think Kevin Harvey knows what the play is before he even sends it into
Probably. And this time he's low and short as he looked for Robinson on the slant end, and they face a 4th down.
I'll tell you, Mike, I think at some point there, maybe within those last couple of plays, I would have run an option. I would have given Harvey the opportunity. There still is enough time. Even if they ran the ball, they did not get out of bounds. If the clock was still running, there'd still be enough time to get back to the line of scrimmage and run a quick play. Certainly now it makes it even more difficult with the 4th down call. But I'll tell you, if there's anybody you want the football in anybody's hands, it's certainly going to be number 8 in this kind of a situation.
He'll wait now until he sees somebody open, or he will run, and he will run. He will not make the touchdown. The interesting question, I think he's shy of the 1st down. It will depend on the spot. I think he comes up a yard shy, which this will be a big stop for the Panthers. And it is a stop defensively. So they dodged the bullet here, 16 seconds remaining. Guess where my quarterback McEwen is going to be this time?
On the ground as quick as he can possibly get there. And that's got to be a big lift for Collingswood.
Yes.
Not to give up the touchdown there with Paulsboro knocking at the door emotionally after the safety. Coming back here playing good enough defense, and they're not even going to have to run a play.
Clock will run down. That's going to do it for the first half. It's been a real good one. And on the Valley and Bow scoreboard, somewhat of a surprise perhaps, Paulsboro 16, Collingswood 10. We'll be back with second half football right after these messages. Second half football coming up from Collingswood High School on a misty Friday night, 16-10, Paulsboro on top. Really a flat performance, if truth be told, by the Red Raiders in the opening half. 3rd game of the season that this has happened. Here are, Steve, your halftime stats.
Oh, here they are, and you can see how competitive Collingswood has been throughout the course of this game. Your first downs with Paulsboro with 10, Collingswood with 6. Your rushing yardage, and Paulsboro moved the ball very effectively. Had a couple nice long drives, 19 rushes, 135 yards, 43 yards on the ground. A lot of that coming from their quarterback, McKeon. Picked up great yardage for them, dropping back to pass, finding the open areas and running. And of course, the passing, not a lot of completions, but it's been really an effective part of the Collingswood scheme as they've been able to move the ball effectively in the air. And then on the other side, Paulsboro with only the 4 completions. Not as effective passing the ball as they normally are.
Well, to show you what kind of game it is, a lot of passing going on as they begin this. It has been an hour and a half here at Collingswood since the opening kickoff, which is really unusual. So many times the clock was stopped as this one skitters out, and Red Raiders will get the ball upfield, assuming they exercise their option.
You know, Mike, we talked earlier in the game about the weather and the impact that it may have on this game, and I think initially coming in here with the threat of rain, I kind of felt that maybe the threat of rain would kind of help Collingswood. They always talk about the weather being a great neutralizing factor with the outstanding team speed of this Paulsboro offense and the way they like to pass the ball. It may slow them up a bit, but you know, after watching Collingswood in that first half and the way in which they like to move the ball in the air, I tell you, take away that passing game from the Collingswood offense, they could really struggle trying to move the ball on the ground. So a couple of adjustments here in our stats. And
the most notable one being passing yards reversed.
That's correct.
And somewhat interestingly, 4 for 12 for Paulsboro throwing the football. Interesting that they threw it 12 times. Ruffin will take the football, come straight up, find a hole for an instant, and get the ball up over the 40-yard line to begin this second half. Well, let's take a look now, see what kind of adjustments have been made, and you've got to believe that in this series what we will see will be offensive adjustments, and my bet, Steve, back to the ground.
Yeah, I do. I think that's where this Paulsboro offense always starts. They set things up with their running game. They're only effective throwing the ball if they're effective running the ball. We'll probably try to get back to that, and of course we'll see on the defensive side what Collingswood elects to do.
Well, Kai Myers opens the second half as he did the opening half with a plunge into the middle of the line and gets but maybe a yard on this one. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Guy Boyer doing a nice job from his down position to get in there and wrap up Meyer before he's able to get through that initial line of scrimmage. And that's what you have to do to slow up this Paulsboro running game. You've got to get them at the line of scrimmage. You cannot allow them to get through that interior front, get into your secondary, because that's where they really turn it on.
To throw. This time it hits his receiver, but Marcus Scott is unable to hold on, so it'll be a 3rd and 9. Ball's floating a little bit on Harvey tonight.
Still has a lot of zip. He got the ball out there very quickly. A timing pattern, that particular time there. Scott just going down about 8 or 9 yards, turning around. The ball has already been delivered. Harvey really throws the ball hard, but as you said, maybe that little flutter there makes it very difficult to catch. Brings up that 3rd down and long.
They'll go with a slot formation to the far side, and they will bring Keenan Smith as the split receiver as Tarpley comes in motion past Harvey. He wants to throw again. He's got his man, but waited too long. Now he's got to look for somebody. Tries to do it with his own ability, of which he has so much. There is a penalty flag down, by the way, as Harvey does get a 1st down, but there's going to be either a block below the knees or a clip, something of that nature, maybe even a hold. We'll see. But in any event, Dan Wilson, the referee, will bring the football back.
Now, Wilson's already indicated that it was a clip. And, you know, Mike, you look back on that play, there is no way he should have been able to get out of there by just gaining a yard. And he takes a play in which he should have been taken down for a loss, and without the penalty certainly would have picked up the 1st down.
Clip.
Flag was thrown right in the area where there was 4 Collingswood players looking to make the play on Harvey. So probably without a doubt, that particular penalty, the infraction by the Paulsboro offense, is what allowed Harvey to get the opportunity to break into the open area.
Now they'll bring it back to the 27-yard line, where it will be 3rd and 24 to go for a 1st down.
I really like what Collingswood does defensively here. Once they get him into a passing situation, they only rush 4 players. 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside. The 2 players on the outside, all they are there for is containment. A lot of people on the inside.
And this will fall incomplete as Tim Robinson cannot hold on. Good defensive coverage, by Ryan Morsey. It will be 4th down and Paulsboro to punt once again.
Not a bad throw by Harvey. Again, a good timing play. Robinson looking to find that seam, but Morsey coming a long way to get across there to make that play.
Keenan Smith to punt for the Red Raiders. He'll stand at his own 15. Jeff Hibbs and Robert Roseborough will be deep at their own 35-yard line to await the punt. It is going to be a scribber off to the side, but again, a decent bounce for Paulsboro. And Collingswood will find themselves at their own 40-yard line to begin their first offensive drive of the 2nd half.
Like one of the things that you had mentioned is this Paulsboro team has been a team that's been slow from the start in a number of their ball games. And here again tonight, struggling a little bit in the 1st half. And, you know, if you're an opponent, you get the opportunity to see this team in the 1st half, you got to believe, hey, we can play with this team. We get off to a good start, keep ourselves in the ball game. Let's minimize our mistakes. Let's take advantage of the opportunities we have, which Collingswood has been able to do in this ball game. You know, certainly we could be in a position, as Collingswood is right now, to pull an upset.
Yeah, a little confusion, a lot of confusion, in fact, that's going to force Collingswood to call a timeout, much to the dissatisfaction of some of their more vocal fans. But with 10:13 remaining to play in the 3rd period, 6 points separating these teams, 16-10, Paulsboro on top. We'll take this break. We'll be back. Well, after that timeout that Collingswood was forced to use, they'll try to get going offensively as McEwen, low man wide open, hits Declan Moody for a 1st down. He was tackled finally by Chris Montemory, but let me tell you, McEwen read that one perfectly on the straight down the field pattern by Declan Moody.
But you're right, a nice read by McEwen. He had 3 receivers, all of them looking to get into the seams. Quick read by McEwen. Moody, a nice job of finding that opening. Zips that ball in there. And this is what they've been able to do throughout the course of this game. Now we're going to be looking to see what kind of adjustment Paulsboro is going to make, bringing a lot of people up on the line of scrimmage. I think if you're going to do one thing differently, they've got to get more pressure on McEwen.
McEwen is chased by Tarpley. and knocked down and loses the football, and it appears that John Calnis, number 70 from Paulsboro, leaps on it. Never saw Tarpley coming from the backside.
And we could see it up here, and you could sense it in the stands. And there you see on the sideline, McEwen is down as he got hit from the blind side.
Holding his right knee.
Tarpley coming all the way from his right defensive end position, never gave up on the play. And the minute McEwen tried to slow up to be able to make that pass downfield, he was there to make the hit. And I think the only question on the play is whether or not Paulsboro was able to gain possession of that football before it got out of bounds. But both the linesman, the side judge, and the referee right there on the play, they make a quick call.
Well, they'll quickly warm up Eric Mahoney, the sophomore substitute backup quarterback on the sideline, to get him ready for when they get the football back.
Right now they're not going to start until they have an opportunity to take care of McEwen. Still in a lot of pain on the sideline, and certainly that'd be a tough break for Collingswood. He's been a vital part of this offense throughout the course of this game, his ability to read defenses, the passing, only a junior, his ability to run the football when the passing game was not there, and certainly just his leadership out there on the football field. Tough kid, though.
Oh, you hate injuries, but you certainly hate knee injuries more than any other in the game of football. Well, 9:37 remaining to play here in the third period. Paulsboro with the football, up by 6. We'll be back. Well, we're back now following the timeout as they attended to Mike McEwen, and fortunately for Collingswood, and more fortunately for McEwen, he is at least up and around, so the way he's walking, it does not appear to be a leg injury. Myers, well, this is what I suspected Paulsboro might do. They didn't do it on their opening drive, but do it here. Add more yardage via the rushing route. First down at the Panther 38-yard line. And it's some surprise to me that the success they're having running, why they have thrown the ball, 17 times already tonight? Close to it.
Come on,
Ball
Dave!
in the air quite a bit here. But you're right, the running game has been very effective for them.
Well, not this time, as Myers is taken down. A good defensive job by Dybus. One of those young men with good size, 5'11", 210. Barickian has done a fine job here last season, this season. And a lot of people forget, because of the absence from the playoffs, that they were at 8-1 a year ago, and now 4-1 on this season. So 12-2 in the last 14 ball games. Pretty good run by Barickian and staff.
I'll tell you, when you look down that sideline, not a lot of players here for Collingswood. A large school with a lot of kids participating, so he gets the best out of his athletes.
Irvin will go. Will go all the way in to the end zone. 36-yard touchdown run for Gerald Irvin. And let me tell you, they finally called it, Steve. Every time they've moved in the direction of the one side, this time with motion coming left, the entire Collingswood backfield has rotated away, and this time they pitch and sweep in the direction of the weakness left by the rotation.
And they set that up with the dive plays from the fullback on the first two plays of this particular series. You kind of suck in that defensive front, try to get them to key on the fullback, and the quick pitch to the outside, and Irvin with a lot of running room. And once he got past that defensive end, there was no stopping it.
Harvey will pick up an additional 2. Now has 4 of the 11 he needed to tie, and 4 of the 12 that he needs to break the record. Irving now with 3 touchdowns on the evening, and with a 2-point conversion, Paulsboro up 24-10.
Well, they make it look so easy, taking over here, using 3 plays to score. Myers on a big run on the first play, and then topped off by Irvin's run to the outside. And as we continue to tell you, they hurt you in so many different ways. You get a running back like Irvin, with the kind of speed and running ability that he has, the fine blocking that they get up front. I think if we said many a times, this is a team that probably could go undefeated without Kevin Harvey at quarterback. That's how good this team is. And certainly with his abilities, it makes this team that much stronger.
We need a Harvey touchdown and a Harvey two-point conversion, huh?
That would do it.
Smith's kick. Taken by Hibbs. Hibbs will be down at his own 25-yard line. Good stop made by Fred Sharp, number 17.
All right, Michael, here you go, big guy.
Get some help along the way. And McEwen, number 11. Good to see that young man back in the ballgame. Now he's got a 2-touchdown and a couple extra points, or 1 2-point conversion hole that he's got to pull his team out of. They're down 24-10 with 7:56 remaining to play in the third.
Come on now, come on.
Don't expect to see him back in that I formation too often with this score.
Come on.
Oh, look at him come. And again, it'll fall incomplete. Credit McEwen with another heady play. Let me tell you, did you see the rush from John David, number 72, on that play? Well, just lifted his defender and said, I'm taking me and you to McEwen, and nearly got there. Forced the dump away pass.
Well, this is where it's really going to get tough for the Collingswood offense. Even though they run out of that shotgun formation, you always had that threat of maybe the run, but right now you're going to see this defensive front really tee off, putting a lot of pressure on McEwen as they now know that Collingswood's going to have to do a lot in the air.
Man is open, and it is received by Declan Moody and gets another Collingswood first down, and then a penalty flag. Let's see which way it goes. It is against Collingswood. Will it be a dead ball foul, which will be the interesting call if it happened after the completion? Oh, he's saying across the line of scrimmage, illegal pass.
It was a very late flag. You had the line judge on the opposite side of the field who came in and marked where McEwen had released the football. And it wasn't until he had the opportunity to mark where the pass was made, and then they had an opportunity to compare it to where the down marker was, that you had the penalty that was thrown, and that's why it came very late. And this will be a 5-yard and a loss of down.
Illegal forward pass. Loss of down. It just...
Punt team, be ready.
3rd and 15 for McEwen now. Well, they'll get some yardage as is received by Hibbs, but at the most enough to get back to the original line of scrimmage where it'll be 4th down. And Collingswood the punt. So it wouldn't look promising. Washed away by the illegal pass penalty. And now Harvey, who averages just about 1 touchdown on every other punt that he gets a chance to run back, will be the lone safety for Paulsboro to receive Roseboro's punt. He will not get a chance here as the ball will float out of bounds at the Collingswood. See where they mark it, 42, 43. They'll mark it at the 43-yard line. The assistants, one of the assistant coaches for Collingswood, barking in defensive signals. Straight up the middle again with Myers, which has been their favorite opening 1st down play of nearly every series. And Myers has to struggle, but then you look at the yardage he gains, and he's credited with 6, 2nd and 4.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Mike. You look at a play in which there's not a big hole. Got good penetration up front by Collingswood. They're there. They had the opportunity to make the tackle, but with Myers running real hard. Able to pick up some additional yardage and now brings up a second down and very short. Not the kind of situation you want to find yourself in if you're the Collingswood defense.
This will be Irvin, who was tripped up at the line of scrimmage and finally taken down by Justin Byer. The play really made by Winder, number 26, at the line of scrimmage. Reached up the one arm and got him off balance. It will be a first down, however, for the Red Raiders, as they will mark it at the Collingswood 30-yard line. Keep waiting for Harvey to bust out of it. Irvin will not get much as he is grabbed by Dybus, who's had a real good football game. Outstanding defender playing up front. There will be a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9, and I just keep feeling it's going to be Harvey time any moment.
You know, this is an offensive scheme in which they like to set up their plays, using the inside game to set up the outside game. A lot of plays running on the inside, tackle to tackle. These are the kind of situations where Harvey likes to fake to the inside, draw that defense in, and then break where he can.
Well, there's Harvey time, but oh, does he get greeted well. Good job by Winder along with Byer. Justin Byer. Roseburg jumps into the fray. No gain on that one, and in fact, a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Tough play to run where you're going to tell the defense that it is a quarterback run. You're running to the short side of the field, really not giving Harvey a lot of opportunity, a lot of room to maneuver.
Harvey really deep, looking for a screen. He hits Irvin. Irvin cannot hold on. And it will be 4th down now, but at the 30-yard line, 31-yard line, remember, of Collingswood. You will not see a punt on this play. The question is, what will you see? Well, if people ask me to use a word to describe Paulsboro, I don't know how you do it when a team's leading 24-10, but I continue to sense that they're flat. And that kind of miss is seldom made by Gerald Irvin.
Back it up!
Sprint to the right, look for a receiver, loft it long, into the end zone and too far. That is not interference. What a call that will be unpopular in Paulsboro. That will be unpopular in Paulsboro and in Collingswood.
That ball is out of the end zone.
That is remarkable.
Certainly a really shame, too.
Isn't it?
It's a shame because you have a Collingswood defense who had really tightened things up. They had stopped Paulsboro on a couple key plays. They're still in this ball game. They're only down 14 points. There's still a lot of time.
Can't they overrule him on that and call it, give him help?
Somebody's got to step in there and say that there's no way that they're
got
going
to
to
give
catch
him
that
help.
ball.
Dan Wilson really taking a long time to talk about it. Here's Barikian with a linesman coming over, and the linesman is shaking his head. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to call the interference.
That certainly is a shame. As I said, Collingswood's in a position. You got a 4th down. You come up big on the play. You have that taken away from you on the play where the ball's thrown out of the end zone.
Oh, is that an unpopular decision here in Collingswood? Rain coming down just a little bit. Umbrellas beginning to show in the stands. They'll get the 1st and 10 out of it. Myers, again with that opening 1st down play where he struggles for 7 or 8. Moody will make the stop, but he'll get 6 out of it, or 7 out of it. It'll be 2nd and 3.
And like, again, not to be critical official, but the one thing I have found over the years, a lot of times you will find your least experienced official is placed at that position where he is behind the defense. They like experienced people on the sidelines who are going to have to deal with the coaches from both sides, and that's probably one of the toughest calls that they have to make. Ball where the ball's up for grabs.
Well, that wasn't up for grabs unless it was by the cheerleaders. Of course, we don't want to criticize the officials. Myers gets it again. This time it'll go over left tackle and stopped by the linebacker Moody, but they'll pick up another first down. Here's the penalty flag. Temper's starting to go, but it's against Paulsboro. I thought maybe frustration would have the best of one of the Panthers or more as a result of that call made a couple plays earlier, but they'll move it back, 15. Certainly not a makeup. Barikian now with another conversation with Dan Wilson on the sideline. What's Barikian saying? Surprise on this call? Good job, ref.
What they'd be talking about in this kind of a situation.
Well, my statement of makeup was not my judgment, but I heard around 30 Collingswood fans yelling it, and I was simply reporting it. I don't think they think about a call after they make it, do they? Harvey on the right side, dips, turns back to the inside, greeted by 4 or 5 of the Collingswood players, where it'll bring up second and long, but remember, it's second and goal. They cannot get a first down out of it, except on some kind of penalty that would carry an automatic first down. So it's at the 12-yard line, the 11-yard line. Remember, Harvey needs a touchdown and a 2-point conversion run in order to break the state scoring record. He looks, he throws, and good defensive play made by Hibbs as he just reached up and knocked that away from the intended receiver, Tim Robinson. So it will be third down.
We've seen that throughout the course of the nice ball game. Good play by the Collingswood secondary. Hibbs staying with the receiver all the way across. Last second breaking in there, knocking the ball away. This is a Paulsboro team, although they haven't been effective tonight, has been very effective in moving the ball in the air.
Harvey probably to drop, and then let's see him run to the left side. Oh, he goes with the draw, and boy, read well by the defensive front of Collingswood, and I believe Paul Davidson will be credited with the first hit and help from Dybus again. 71 and 50, the 2 players involved in that tackle, and now it's fourth down. Fourth and goal from the 13. The clock continued to run, 2:14, 2:13 and counting here in the third period.
Well, needless to say, if Collingswood's going to stay in this ball game, this is a very big play for them.
Well, they thought they did it on the last series. Harvey lofts it into the end zone. Byer is there, and Byer reaches up for it along with Tim Robinson, and that one also thrown well out of the end zone, and Collingswood will dodge it again as they will get the first down. And I'm sure that any official who may have had second thoughts is probably breathing a little easier at this point.
As we said, he should be in a situation here where Collingswood's still rightfully in this ball game. Need a nice drive here. Under 2 minutes left here in the third period. They could be able to see them move the ball downfield.
Okay.
And they would have been out of it effectively with a touchdown there. McEwen under the quarterback. 2 backs behind him in the eye. Byer will get maybe 2, second and 8. Winder carried the football. Check it.
Come on now!
Ball now marked at the 15-yard line. McEwen this time will say, all right, I've got enough room to operate, and go back to the shotgun.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on, we can get him! Offense, come on!
Better watch the backside again. And This time holds on to the football and goes for the first down. And good job again by McEwen, who's really had a fine football game here tonight. Had some effective completed passes. Has made some intelligent choices as to when to run the football.
That's certainly a nice play there. Not having the opportunity to set himself up and throw. I think one of the problems that Collingswood's having right now, a lot of their patterns are taking a long time to develop. That time, Convoy split to the right-hand side, had man-to-man coverage, had a lot of room given to him by his cornerback. But by the time they got downfield, McEwen was feeling the pressure and had to scramble for that first down.
He's got pressure from Tarpley again from the backside. Gets it up in the air, however. And I'm not sure exactly what Ryan Morsey was thinking about. I'm sure he thought this was going to Declan Moody coming across, but Morsey actually had a pretty good shot at it.
That's who I thought the ball was originally being thrown to. Morsey had split to the right-hand side, had gone down about 10 yards and kind of was curling up, trying to find that open area.
Second and 10, staring Collingswood in the face. Ball at the 25-yard line. All the time he needs and goes to Winder, covered by Ruffin and nearly picked off later by Seneca Cooper, number 29.
Well, you're right. McEwen had a lot of time on that particular play. Got a nice deep drop. Had the opportunity to wait to see how things would develop downfield with his wide receivers. Trying to go long to Winder that time, just a little bit off target. I'm really surprised. You figure this team came out offensively, and our first 4 passes went to number 82, Bill Convery, who split to the right-hand side, but he really has not been a factor since that first series.
He wants him this time. Throws it up long. Convery, a little pushing and shoving, but no call. Covered by Ruffin.
Looked like Convery was actually trying to play the defensive man and got a little bit caught up in trying to get himself good position, almost like he was in boxing out in basketball. Convery, a very fine basketball player for Collingswood, trying to box out the defensive man, but just got himself a little bit too far downfield and was not able to make the play back on the ball.
Roseboro will get an opportunity to pump once again, and Harvey will get an opportunity, perhaps, to return one. Not had that chance yet this evening. He's back there, but hasn't gotten the ball to him yet. Oh, this one is kicked away from him again. And pretty good bounce. It'll go to the 42-yard line where the Red Raiders will take over. 22 seconds remaining to play here in the third period, 24-10. Paulsboro on top.
You know, Mike, you mentioned the fact that this Paulsboro team really seems to be lacking a lot of emotion out here this evening. We mentioned earlier the fact that there's no Paulsboro stands on the other side of the football field. You wonder what kind of impact that's had on this team. It's got to be a strange feeling to be over there, kind of like all by yourself. Even after you make a big play, you come over and there's really no one to cheer you on.
Well, here's a young man that's made big plays all night long. 3 touchdowns, in fact. Irvin, who will get close to a first down on the first down. I was talking to Coach John Ricketts from Gateway during halftime, Steve, and we were discussing that very fact. He agreed with me. It's an eerie sensation being the visiting team over there. And see if he takes us up sometime on my suggestion. I suggested you bring a tape recorder and a speaker system and play some fan noise behind them. Have somebody just twiddling with the dials during the game depending on the play. Kind of like canned laughter, only make it canned cheers. Well, that's going to do it in any event for 3/4 of play from Collingswood. 24-10 on the Valley and Bow scoreboard. Paulsboro on top, and they have the football. We'll be back. From the 49-yard line in Collingswood territory, Paulsboro will begin this 4th period with a plunge forward. at which time they will pick up the first down as Myers gets the call again. Guy has been an important part of the offense this evening. Trekking with our historian here at Channel 5, John Mondelli, host of the Sports Week with John Mondelli during the week. Interesting show, informative show, entertaining show, as to when was the last game that Kevin Harvey went without a touchdown. We think it has only happened once in his career. He has yet to do it this evening. Well, he has yet to do it this evening. Nearly does it here as the exciting Harvey crosses the 20-yard line. They'll bring it back perhaps and mark it right there, but that's the biggest explosion for Kevin Harvey all evening.
Explosion certainly is the key word on that one. There is just a little opening. He sees a little opening, explodes to the line. One player there from Collingswood able to take Kevin Harvey down, just waiting for his opportunity. Very difficult to contain this young man. Done a nice job again of not allowing him to get to the outside. Harvey able to read that, knowing he's got to stay up on the inside, able to do so.
Darpley switches to tight end on the far side. Irvin looking for touchdown number 4, and we'll have it. A 20-yard run for Gerald Irvin, his 4th touchdown of the evening. He's got a 20-yarder, now a 36-yarder, a 1-yard run, and a 6-yard run. Not a bad evening for Gerald Irvin.
And they've been really nice runs. We can see there the rain starting to come down here at Collingswood. But again, this is a team that moves the ball so well on the ground. You talked about Myers earlier in this series, and I think so much has to start with the fullback, and they have a good one in Myers, a good hard runner, a good blocker, and complemented very well by Irvin. Quick runner, great to the corner, good speed, strong.
Irvin comes back on the counter, and he gets in for the 2 points. He's got, what, 24, 26 points an evening? Not a bad night's work.
And we said before how strong this team is in terms of their balance. And anybody can hurt you on any given night. They can do it on the ground. They can do it in the air.
Well, you look at the scoreboard, and all of a sudden 32-10 as Howard applauds his troops as they come off to the far side. But Collingswood, look at the score, is not indicative of how they've played this ballgame.
No, it's not, and you have to really compliment this coaching staff. They have put together a great offensive and defensive scheme. Offensively, they knew what they had to do coming into this ball game to be able to move the ball against this Paulsboro defense. They've been able to stick with that. A couple plays could have gone either way. Able to come up with the big plays that they needed going into halftime, only down by 6 points. Not able to get things going here in the second half like they were able to in the first. But even defensively, for the most part, they have been able to neutralize this Paulsboro offense. Not allowing Harvey to get to the outside. They've been very disciplined in their approach. But as we said all along, there's just so many weapons here from Paulsboro. It's very difficult to stop.
Hibbs has trouble with it. Is tripped up and falls forward. Tackle made by Richard Gaines, number 19. Well, next Friday night, Collingswood will host Gateway right here at Collingswood High School. And on Saturday, Paulsboro will be at Haddon Heights. Interesting question now. The only one that remains in my mind is whether or not Harvey this evening will tie or break the record. Well, he can't. It'd be pretty hard to tie it.
Certainly probably not a major concern with Glenn Howard and his coaching staff right now. I think the most important thing is, number one, we got to come out here with a victory. And number two, we got to come out healthy. And they're going to probably do everything they can to ensure that.
McEwen on the option will give it to Roseboro. Roseboro has a couple of blockers in front of him, and pretty good job, but loses the football. It will be ruled Paulsboro football, apparently. Yes, it is. Fumble recovery is going to be made by a very, very happy John Callis, who's played a very fine football game tonight. The only question was whether or not Roseboro would have been ruled down before the fumble, but that is not the ruling.
Yeah, that certainly was the case there. He wasn't going anywhere. looked like he had been pretty much held up, but still his knees hadn't touched the ground. He still had a lot of forward momentum going. Defensively, Paulsboro coming in there able to knock the ball loose. Tough break for Collingswood here. As you said, the score probably in the end is not going to be a true indication of how close this ball game really was.
Perfect time for the option run left. They rotate back away from that. Harvey again to throw. Now he'll scamper to the left side and going to run the football. There is a penalty flag down. Harvey will get into the end zone for a touchdown, but one senses that this one is coming back. And one also senses that that was designed all the way. Drop back and then immediately set and then break to the outside.
We're going to have illegal procedure against Paulsboro.
Well, that'll deny him a chance. Gonna have to do it over again, Mr. Harvey.
Got illegal motion on the offense.
We're gonna run it again, huh? Still has the left side open, doesn't he? Rain coming down a little heavier now. Supposed to really pour. Could see a lot of games tomorrow, Steve, rained out. The second week in a row, if that happens. Lots of games played on Sunday and many, many more on Monday last week. Irvin bangs forward for maybe 6. They'll place it at the 24-yard line. So he'll be credited with 5. It will be 2nd and 10. Look at the rain, you can see it now in your picture. Coming down heavy as it's been all evening long. You were scheduled to go to a ball game tomorrow in Penns Grove, probably? In the morning or afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Afternoon, you might have a shot based on the forecast. I'll bet it's canceled. Harvey wants to run it, I believe. Look at it, just watch it, just watch it, just watch it. No words needed. No words needed. Remarkable. Remarkable. No flags. Gives him 10 on the evening on that 24-yard Harvey run. Let's go, please, for the 2-point conversion run, and let's not think anybody but Harvey. I want to be here when he does it.
There were 11 blue jerseys standing there. Each one had an opportunity to make a play.
Everybody here, Steve, knows what this means. Everybody knows what this can be. This can be history. Guess who's going to run the football? And guess who will not get it? He remains 2 points shy of the state record to be in his hands, 1 point shy of tying it, 38-10, 8:44 to play, and that could mean we'll see Harvey on the next series. Well, you see the score. Safely put away for win number 6 and win 35 in a row for Paulsboro. We'll be back with the final 8:44 after these messages. Remember, he's trying to get to
559 is the
559 to tie it. 559 to break it.
Harvey fakes the first man.
Up, here we go. Here we go. He does it. That gives him, what, 560? Yes.
Oh, he needed 2
more
points.
than that because he's got 16. He came in with 548. Unbelievable.
And again,
Unbelievable.
on a play in which there's no way that he should have been able to get through there for any kind of a score.
6-4. 5-6.
Kevin Harvey has just broke Bruce Presley's state record of 559 points.
564 points.
Valerie Harvey.
Remarkable. Bruce Presley, playing at Rutgers, no longer holds the state scoring record. One senses that may be Harvey's last play of the evening, unless he does at least complete the exercise with the conversion attempt. Mrs. Harvey, Coach Howard presents a jersey. What's to say? Scoring record, New Jersey State career scoring record. He'll take it. He earned it. 1992 to 95, and still possibly 6 games to play.
I think there's still a few more points that Mr. Harvey's going to score. I think he's going to pad that record just a little bit. And I guess when you look at it, the number 600 is not quite out of reach.